at Unit 7. So we'll go into sample distributions, and what we will do here is we're just taking what we did in study Unit 6, where we started off with a normal distribution, and taking it one step further to say we work now with a sample instead of a full population. So the biggest difference in this chapter is that you will see that when we work out the Z value, we bring in the sample size. Okay, so that is nearly the biggest difference, is to say, and let me highlight it here for you guys, is that instead of our traditional Z is equal to x minus the mean divided by standard deviation, we now bring in that sample size. Okay, so with all of the questions, they nearly in study Unit 7 need to give us a sample size, else we assume that we are working just with a normal distribution. Okay, the other thing that they love to ask, and you might have, the guys that have started with the assessments 3, they also love to ask questions around the standard error. So basically, that component that is below that line is called the standard error. So we'll go through a few examples today as well, where they only look and ask for the standard error. So just be cognizant of that as well. They might give you all the information to do everything, but they might just ask you only for the standard error. Okay, so then another thing that we're bringing into this study unit is we look at the mean, but we also look at proportions. And proportions is basically looking at something like a binomial distribution that we did a few weeks ago. So proportion is just going to be, they tell us 50 out of 100. So instead of saying there's a mean, they will give us a proportion, and the proportion formula does look a bit different. So this is the how to work out the Z when we're looking at a proportion. Also, again, very important, and we will work through an example of that as well, is that, again, we've got this so-called standard error. That is the one that we will be dividing by. So we've got the standard error when we look at the sample distribution, and we know what the proportion is, and sometimes we don't know, and then we just use the other proportion, but it still stays the same, that your Z will be worked out with the proportion minus the we call it the pi, and that will then be divided by the standard error. So doesn't matter if we work out Z for a mean or Z for the proportion, there's always going to be the standard error component. The other thing with when we will do the proportion, they will tell you, and you will see in the examples that we do, the big difference between when it's a proportion and when we're working with a mean. So it's not that they're just going to give you numbers and you need now to suddenly sort out if it is for one or the other one. It will be very clear in the questions that you're working with a mean or you're working with a proportion. The same when we go into the next study unit, the confidence intervals, the same when we go into hypothesis testing. It will be very clear when it's a mean and when it is a proportion that we're working with. Okay, so let's start and look at a few examples. I think this is always the area where we learn the most how to tackle these questions. So let's look at the first one. And when I look at, we need to get to a Z table. I've got my tables open as well. The one that was sent to you guys in one of the study guides. So we will look at that as well. Okay, so in this, they give us, and they say a sample N of 16 observations, normal distribution or normal population with a mean. Okay, so there already we know that we're going to work with a Z. Okay, so that is the formula that we're going to work with. They give us a bit more information when they say use the standard normal Z tables to calculate the probability that X is going to be bigger than 1050. So just to rewrite that, going to be bigger. So 1050, and now let's see to populate the rest. It was 100, 1,000. Then we had standard deviation was 200. And the sample was 16. Okay, so let's just then see what that will end up. So at the top is 50. 200 divided by 4 is 50. So we're basically looking at a Z that is bigger than 1. Okay, so then go to the usual way of looking at it. That's a Z0, Z1 bigger than 1. So we're looking for this area. So let's just make it another color. So we're looking for the blue area. Okay, so from previous chapters, we know the left-hand side is 0.5, the right-hand side is 0.5. So this will be an area that is smaller than 0.5. So then we can already see, okay, not going to be option 1, not going to be option 3, not going to be option 4. So we need to get between those two answers. So then we go to the Z tables. Let's just see where was that. Only towards the end of that document. Okay, so we Z table, I'm looking for Z1, but we know that if we, and let's just write a bit. So hopefully, so we're looking for Z1, but I know from this table that we can look at Z minus 1. Okay, so from this table, Z minus 1 is going to be 0.1587. Okay, 0.1587. Okay, so let's then go back. 0.1587. Okay, we could also have gone the other route to say we'll get this bigger area, the green area, and we say 1 minus the green area, because that will also give us that blue area. So let's see on the positive table, what is Z1? There's Z1, 0.8413. So 0.8413, which you see was one of our answers. But remember, we need that smaller area. So if we say 1 minus 0.8413, we will also get 0.1587. Okay, so again, you can use both of the tables, whichever one you're most comfortable with. I think that is the important one of this is what you are most comfortable with. Okay, so both methods are right, but again, the one that you are most comfortable with. Okay, so let's just look at the next question. Okay, so just first, this was purely a question of getting the Z, from the Z going to get to your probability. So now a question, again, they tell us normally distributed, a mean of 40, standard deviation of 12, work out the standard error of a sample mean if a sample size is 100. Okay, so standard error, let's hope that doesn't do that all day again. So standard error is, again, just the bottom component of this equation. So that part is your standard error. And so what we need is your standard deviation. There's your standard deviation is 12. And what we also need is your sample size. Mean sample size is 100. So square root of 100 will be 10. So 12 divided by 10 will give us 1.2. Okay, so now you guys can see they have given you a few options that might even seem correct. So if you just worked with the standard deviation, there was an answer. If you said um, used the 40, let's quickly see, there was something. If you used the 100 and the 40, I think you get to 2.8 or something like that. If you said 100 divided by the 40. But 12 divided by that, and if you said 40 divided by the square root of 100, there was for 4 as well. But the answer that we're looking for is option 3. So what for me is important here is that you guys must just remember that the standard error is that component at the bottom of a formula that instead of a standard deviation, because we're working with a sample, the standard deviation change a bit, and we call it standard error because we're bringing in a sample size. So we're not looking at the whole population anymore. We are now looking at the sample size of the population. So that is nearly when we work with this study unit, the types of, so now they can change it up a bit to say you might not need to work out the Z, or you only need to work out the Z and not for probabilities. So just be careful in these study units that sometimes you even go too far in a question where they might just want a simpler answer. Okay, so let's look at this question. From a random variable, normally distributed, got the population mean. So now we know we are going to work with something about the mean. They will probably give us, there's a standard deviation. Then the probability that a simple random sample of 25 items will have a mean that is less than. Okay, mean that is less than. Okay, so that is now the things that is becoming nearly the second layer of importance is are we using the smaller sign? Are we using bigger? So less than is smaller. So when I first just write the formula over again, that I just don't miss. Okay, let me just save this. I don't like it that it is jumping between slides. Okay. So they tell us where is the mean, or the x is 85. They said to us the mean is 80. Standard deviation 10 divided by square root of 25. So this once again is quite nice because we get easy to get the standard deviation of 25. That is 5. We not always lucky that it is rounded off already for us. So 85 minus 80 gives you 5. 10 divided by 5 gives you 2. So we're looking at a Z that is smaller than 2.5. Okay, so there's a 0. Nearly I make the mistake to go 2.5 on this side. but it's actually positive 2.5. And smaller. So we're looking at this whole area, which is quite a big area. So again, this will be something bigger than 0.5. So when we go to answers, okay, might be, not an option, not an option, not an option. Okay, so we can very easily start eliminating options. So again, assignments, you probably have a bit more time. Exam, if you pressed for time and you need to get through the questions, sometimes then easier to pick between or guess between two than guess between five options. Okay, so let's go. Firstly, it is the bigger area, so I know we can use the positive to say 2.5. So there it is 99,38, 9938, 9938. Okay, in this instance, I would probably not even go to look at the smaller area and then say 1 minus, because this is as it is on a positive table. So here I would not even have gone nearly to make it more difficult for me, because now to say 1 minus the negative 2.5, it just makes it more difficult. So here what we want is exactly the same as on a positive table. So I would, for this one, just go straight to a positive table instead of now going. One can do it. So one could have said you want it as minus 2.5. You will get 0,0062. But yeah, for me, this is a bit just longer, but 1 minus that will give you also the 0,9938. So if you want to go that route, you can, but for me, this was nearly, I see exactly the same as I see on the positive table. So I would have gone rather use the positive table as is for this one. Okay, so now we probably will go into some of the proportions, but yeah. So into the proportions. So they tell us in a binomial experiment with a sample size n is 300, sample proportion is 0.5, the standard error for the proportion. Okay, so not probability, they give us we have all the information to work out the Z value and what the probability will be. We're not going for that. We just want the standard error. Okay, and the standard error, this one I don't remember as good as the other one because there's a few extra things in here, and also very important to check where the square root is, because I will show you guys now what happens a lot of the time. So and I don't have my normal calculator with me, so I am just going to do this in Excel so that, okay, so we've got the pi is 0.5. So 0.5 times 1 minus 0.5. Okay, so that's the top component. Then we will need to divide that by n. N is 300. Okay, so already when we do that, so we've only done the inside of this calculation, and there's one of the answers. Okay, so that's why just be very careful. So we haven't done the square root yet. So now we've done it, the inside of that square root, we have the answer. Okay, so now we need to do the square root of that. And then if we get the square root, we see it is 0.02887. And if we round that off, there is our answer. So just be very careful. They do make it that as you go through your different steps, that there are answers. So that's nearly just what I wanted to show with this component is because you're working on the calculator, so for each step nearly there is an answer for you. So please just be very careful. And again, it is nearly, when you pressed for time, you see on your calculator the same answer as in one of the options. Very easy to just say, oh, great, I've got the answer. So just be very careful. What they do in the assignments, and you guys would have seen that now already, that you might get 1 out of 2 points or something like that. And that will be because if you just went for that inside, okay, so look at, so if it was 0.028, so that is why, just check, and again, so they give you an answer that is quite similar, but look at where the 0 is. So there's no 0. So again, that is how they nearly trick you. So actually good that you now ask that. So that's why I say sometimes it's, but when you do the work, you think you're wrong, but it's actually just because of how they nearly want to trick you in the answers. Because yeah, I first, when I looked at that, I was also, is 288 288. I wanted to go for that as well, but then when you start rounding it off, yeah, so and that is the scary thing. So unfortunately, with a lot of these, you now have seen that could have been an answer in your, this is very close because it seems to, so yeah, it's some of these that just be very, it's not that you're getting the work wrong, it is just that you nearly get caught with some of the answers. Okay, so let's look at the next one, and I have copied in the the formula for the proportion, because I always struggle to remember that one. So let's look at what they say. A random sample size n is equal to 400 was selected from a binomial population with a population proportion of pi equal to 0,2. The number of observed successes in the sample is 96. Okay, which of the following statements is incorrect? Okay, firstly, sample proportion. So we need to check, is 96 divided by 400. What is that answer? So I'll use my cell phone for that one. So 96 divided
0.24.
Cool. 0,24. So that we know is correct. Okay, so standard error. Okay, cool. Standard error. We'll need to work out using this formula. Okay, so there I'm going to go to this, and I'm just going to replace a bit. So check. That was 0.2. 2 sample size 400. Okay, so if I work that out, and I'll share the Excel with you guys as well, then you have it on standby to work it out. So standard error is 0,02. So now let's use that Excel to just do a bit more. So I'm going to move that there, say that is the standard error. Let's look at the component above. So the sample proportion was 0.24. The actual was 0.2. So if we divide those two by one another, we will get the Z. Okay, the Z is 2. So again, Z2 with a Z equal to 2.02, one could have very easily, and let's just make sure that with all these numbers, there isn't a rounding off or anything. Okay, so no, so Z is 2, Z, they say 2.02, so this could have been very easily, again, making a mistake, because that for me feels nearly exactly the same, but it's not. Then what is the probability that this now, the proportion, is bigger than 0,24? So we know that it is Z is 2. So we're looking for that area. So what is the probability that Z is bigger than 2? Because that is what we worked out as the t-stat. So we now need to work out this small area. So now again, first, let's go to the -2 table, because that will give me it directly 0.0228. So it gives me the 0.0228, which is correct. Or I could have said 1 minus the orange area. Orange area, we will again just check for +2. So +2, 0.9772. So minus 0.9772. And that also gives us the 0.0228. So again, positive table or negative table, you get this, the same answer. And then just for last, this is a case of sampling distribution for proportion. Yes, it is. We're working with proportion. So definitely, okay, so how did we get the test statistic? We used this formula. So it would have been the 0.24 minus 0.2. So that's the top component. And I already have worked out the standard error for the question option 2, which was 0.02. So that was the Z, so it was 0.04 divided by 0.02, which would have given us the 2. So I used this formula for that. Okay, so we basically have the formula here that we use, but very important nearly also to go through those steps. Okay, so I think that is nearly for me the most important is to go through those steps to get to your answer. And then a question like this covers all of the things that you need to know about the population and sample proportions, because they ask you to work out the sample proportion. They ask you to work out the standard error. They ask you to work out the t-stat. So that already covers 3 of the things. And then they ask you to do that last thing to work out the probability. So in a question like this, they cover everything that you need to know about this topic. And I think that's where it is also important that in the assignments, they might go and give you a separate question like we worked out now with the standard error, and we worked out a probability. But the exam, very easily they can ask you a question like this, because it covers everything of that topic. Yes, so when they ask you the test statistic, you basically work out the Z-score. Okay, so we jumping the gun a bit. So in the next session, when we start looking at hypothesis testing and confidence intervals and those kind of things, we are going to bring in something else. So then we're going to bring in a critical value. So that is more when we get to hypothesis testing. Then we're going to look at the test statistic versus a critical value, and we need to make decisions on that. So that is still coming, but when they talk here about and in the future about the test statistic, you basically working out the Z. Okay, so that is, yeah, thanks for that question actually, because it can be confusing between workout, because they don't ever nearly say workout for Z. So when they say workout the T-stat, that is basically what we're referring to. Okay, so now we just have a normal question around standard error. So again, be very careful with these. At this moment, we don't have, here you don't have enough information to work out a Z or a probability. But they could have easily given you the population proportion and the sample proportion, and then say work out the standard error. So just be careful that here they just easily say to us, okay, standard error. So let's just copy that component again over. So standard error so let's first just do the formula, and then we can replace, and then going to go to Excel again, so that we just show again how one can get to the different steps, and probably again different answers as you go through the steps. Okay, so that is basically what we will need to work out. Okay, so let's go through the steps. So I'm just going to put in here, and let's make it bigger, and the values we have is 0.68 and I think 20. Okay, so the first component is to say the 0.68. So let's make it for you guys that you can actually use this in. Okay, so that's the first component. We just set that times that, and look, there's the answer. Okay, so again, nearly are they catch you or not catch you out, but it's one of those. I know when I work through numbers and I see a number and I see it as one of my options, I nearly want to say that already is the correct one. Okay, so again, if you did this in the assignment, that's where you will get maybe 0.5 points out of 2 or 1 out of 2 or something like that. Okay, so now let's put in the divide by 20. And let's just round it off and see. Suddenly there's another answer. Okay, so for the first step, there was answer. For the second step, there was answer. And then if we square root that, and let's just round off. Okay, 1043, 1043. That is your final answer. But again, now that I looked at that and one can very easily get confused again with 0.14 because you just see those numbers. So if you just see all those 4 threes and 1 O's, and so it it does become very confusing. But now you could see first step, second step, third step, where we have a final answer for each step. There was an answer. Okay, so just again, I will definitely share this the spreadsheet with you guys as well, that you can work with this. Just that you guys can see. So you can in this, let's just, I want to say that is the population proportion. That's the sample. So if you guys then get any question that you need to change that, let's say 0.45, your answers will automatically change, and that last one will be your standard error score. Okay, so I will share it afterwards with you guys on the WhatsApp and in the my UNISA platform. Just while we are now on it, let me just add, if any of you are not on our WhatsApp group yet, please, the link to the WhatsApp is in there. Click on it. You can join it. If that doesn't work, you can always send me a WhatsApp to 0837908387, and I will add you to the WhatsApp group. Okay, so this for me is again for you guys just to see. So that was that option answer. If you done it, that would have been that answer. And if you've done the whole thing, you finally get to the right answer. So again, just one of those that one needs to be careful of. Okay, then something a bit different, and this might have already come up in your assessment as well. Motional, or let's just say the EQ score of grade 8 class is normally distributed with a mean of 80 and a standard deviation of 20. Okay, so we've got our mean, got our standard deviation. A random sample of 36 grade 8 learners are selected. Let X be the EQ score of class 8, of grade 8 class. It is further known that the probability that the mean EQ score is at least 0.0082. Now we need to determine what is the value of X. So this is something that we now nearly work backwards. So let's write just the formula of this down. So we would have said so this is with our traditional formula where we would get all of this information to work out the Z. Now they give us the information, but we need to work out the X value. Okay, so it is different, but they give us all the information to work it out. So firstly, they tell us, hang on, we give you a probability. So we give you a probability that that Z, whatever that Z value is, the probability big or equal to that is 0,0082. Okay, so we need to first find out what is that Z value. Okay, so we've got a probability, we need to find the Z. Okay, so we've got a probability of that smaller area. So I'm going to use the negative table because that's just easier for me now to get to that probability. Just see the probability was 0,0082. So now we go, we don't have a Z. We've got 0,0082. So we will need to find that 0,0082 in this part of the data, not in the Z's, but in the probabilities. So 0,0082. So let's just 0,0,0,0,1, 0,0,2, 0,0,8. Okay, so let's see, there was something. 0,082. Okay, so where was it? So there, I want to highlight. That is now way too dark. There was the 0,0082, which is equal to 2.4. Okay, so 0,0082 equal to 2.4. So we know that Z is equal to 2.4 because it is, remember, on the positive side. Okay, so we're working a bit backwards, but now we can do this. We can say, okay, Z is 2.4. We don't know X yet, but we've got the mean. Now we're going into maths. Standard deviation, 20. Sample of 36. So 36, square root of 36 is 6. Okay, so 20 divided by 6. Okay, 20 divided by 6, let's just make sure that is all correct, is 3,333 continuous. So to get rid of that on both sides, we will need to multiply by 3,333. So 2.4 times 3.33 continuous is equal to X minus the 80. So let's just say that 3.33 times 2.4 gives me 8.
I got 8.
Awesome. I also got 8. Then the minus 80, we're going to take to the other side. So we're going to say plus 80 on both sides. So 8 plus 80 is your mean. So your mean is 88. Okay, which is then the option C. Okay, so this is a bit different because we used to get the mean, the standard deviation, the x, then we used to work that out, get the z, go to your distribution, work out that to get the probability. This time they've given us that we nearly need to work backwards. Okay, and with this, they can ask you a few things. So we've now worked out the x, but they could have given us that and we needed to work out the n or the standard deviation. So they can use the same example, but ask you to work out any of the other ones as long as they give us the probability so that we can work out the z. Else we're not. So they need to at least give us the probability of the z, and then we can work out any of the other 4 in a question like this. So a bit, and I think there was a question like this in study unit 6 as well, where we needed to work out by getting the z and the probability, we needed to, I think, work out also how big the class was, or they said something about the score was above a certain number and how many students got that, and we needed to work out the whole number of the class. So this is very similar to that type of question. Here we were just working also within a sample profile and not the bigger population. Okay, so yeah, that is it for study unit 7. When our next session next week, study unit 8, we'll start with confidence intervals, and then in confidence intervals we're gonna do exactly the same. We're gonna have the z with the mean, we're gonna have the z with the proportion, but we introducing another one with the mean, and that is when we don't know what the mean or what the standard deviation of the mean is. Then we're going to start introducing another distribution that's called the t-distribution, but that's for next week. So that is not that you need to worry about that in study unit 6 and 7 that your assignment is about. That we will start next week with the confidence intervals. Okay, so that is it, everyone. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Keep warm. It is absolutely freezing everywhere, so please keep warm. Good luck with the assignments you've got for the assignments. You have 3 attempts to do it.